It's time for our WWE SummerSlam predictions. Two-night show, and ladies and gentlemen, my name is Matt. Welcome to the channel. If you guys can hit that subscribe button, it helps us out a lot. Let's get into the first match, the newly announced TLC match. Finally, we are going to get the tag teams on a PLE, and one of the biggest ones for SummerSlam. I can't wait. And they're gonna do a TLC, just like what we had the TLC match previously on SmackDown. That should have been at WrestleMania, but they didn't do it. Feels like WWE listened this time and figured, hey, let's get all of these teams right there on SummerSlam. Now this is gonna be messy. DIY, Motor City Machine Guns, the Wyatts, Profits, Fraxium, Andrade, and Rey Fenix. Now the Wyatts just got these tag team titles. Do you really think that they're gonna change it up this quickly? I kind of feel like the answer is yes. This match has potential to be standout of one of the nights because it's just going to be so chaotic. I have no doubt that we're going to see some massive spots here. I'm gonna go with Andrade and Rey Fenix to pick up those tag team titles. For me, it's either them or Fraxium because everybody else has had their time in the sun to be able to get these, and they just put Fenix and Andrade together. Now, do you think that maybe down the road they're going to get the Lucha Brothers? Probably. Maybe they'll do a draft and then there's teams moving around, but I do think that they want to establish Fenix and Andrade as a credible team right now. You know what? It also gives both of them something really cool to do. So it's either them or it's going to be Fraxium. Next up, Sami Zayn versus Karrion Kross, a rematch. Now, we haven't seen Sami Zayn very much. He has come back on Monday Night Raw. Karrion Kross has just been toying with him over and over again, and Sami's still got the DDP rib tape every single night. Months of back and forth, an actual story for Karrion Kross so that people can sink their teeth into it. I like what they've done. I like that Kross was a bloody mess on Raw previously. Just kind of added to it. Now at Night of Champions, Kross lost in this match. I gotta think we gotta get Mr. Kross to get a win at a PLE. I know it's Sami Zayn, and realistically, if this was to be the end of the feud, a blow off, typically you're gonna want that baby face to get over. I just feel like Sami's done it all. Like, I know he hasn't won the world title, but for the majority of the storyline, Sami's kind of been there and he's done everything, and I don't mind if Sami disappears for a little bit. I think Kross needs it. Losing the first match, yeah, okay, they were able to keep it going. I think you need to have Kross win this thing. Establish him. If he's gonna renew with WWE and be there for the long haul, this is a younger guy that you want to be able to hitch your wagon to put in bigger stories and move him forward. Sami can eat a loss. I'm gonna go with Karrion Kross gets a victory. We also can't have baby faces winning all night long. The question is Sami gonna say it? Is he gonna say that like Kross was right? That's what Kross is really after here. Maybe it's gonna lead to Kross getting what he wants. Sami says that he's right, and maybe Sami turns heel. Next up, we got a tag team match. We got Roman Reigns and Jey Uso going up against the Braun brothers. Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed with Paul Heyman at their side. Seth Rollins is off with the injury or the supposed injury, but this tag team match, I gotta say that I don't think Roman Reigns is gonna lose. Like, it's Roman. Roman came back for SummerSlam to do this. I don't see a world where Roman loses. I think you're getting spears and Uso splashes and everything. I think Braun Breaker will do something cool and be the standout in this thing, but at the end of it, Roman Reigns has to stand tall. Roman lost at WrestleMania. He got beaten down the Raw after Mania. Needs to get that win back, and the crowd's gonna want it. They're not gonna want Roman to lose. A Bloodline reunion-ish, they're gonna win. I do think that this can help set up maybe a one-on-one match down the road between Braun Breaker and Roman Reigns. Something I would like to see if we only have Roman for a limited number of dates. Because I also, at SummerSlam, I could have seen them just doing that as a one-on-one match if they built it properly. But I'm picking Roman Reigns, a tribal chief. He's gonna get the victory here. Speaking of Bloodline, Solo Sikoa versus Jacob Fatu, steel cage match for the United States Championship. This one I'm conflicted on. I don't know about you. And I'm conflicted because I can totally see them wanting Jacob Fatu to just pick up that US title and run with it much longer, and have Solo and his whole mother effing Tongas move on and do something else. But I do think also that there is some more gas in the tank, and I think that they could have Solo pick up the victory. It's a steel cage match. Yes, that is supposed to keep everybody outside, but it's WWE, and you know that they're gonna have the Tongas and everybody getting involved. Tama Tonga still has not come back, and I think that he could be on the hoodie, put that up, and he interferes in the steel cage match. Maybe they want to do something like that. Solo got the upper hand on SmackDown, but we still have a go home. I'm gonna go with Solo Sikoa. I don't think Solo has had the belt long enough yet. I think you should establish Solo even more as a dominant United States champion. Jacob Fatu, is still in an amazing spot. He's super over, and have him chase the US title even longer. I feel like it's just such a quick turnaround. If Jacob wins, it's where does the story go next? Sure, they could trade victories and losses, but this is SummerSlam. I think you want to give a nice big win for Solo. I know he won the US title before, but he had all of his MFTs getting involved, and I think here you could actually take it one step further, because then at Survivor Series, maybe that's when Jacob picks up the title, or they fast track Jacob and he wins like the Royal Rumble, who knows? So I'm actually gonna say Solo, probably wrong, I'm gonna say that Solo Sikoa wins. Maybe Tama Tonga shows up. Okay, this one I am looking forward to. Women's Intercontinental Championship match, Lyra Valkyria versus the champion Becky Lynch. But the interesting part here is that this is no DQ. And this is a standout match for me because I've just enjoyed the whole feud. Becky coming back and teaming with Lyra, the tag team victory, breakup, the title win for Becky, the match at Backlash was excellent, bringing Bayley into the fold. The whole dynamic between all three of them, I've really enjoyed. I don't see this as a big blow off. I think it's more of a continuation. Here's where it gets interesting for me though, because in the back of my head, I'm thinking about there being a draft. There's been rumblings and rumors that we could see trades, a draft, something after SummerSlam. I think it's kind of the best time for it to happen if they're gonna do it. And that's where I could see things shifting for this storyline, where you could have Becky go to SmackDown with the IC title, or her and Bayley stay on Raw, and Lyra goes to SmackDown. Something where there is a split, where one part of the story, maybe that can continue. They've done such a good job building this thing up. Bayley, I think, is going to factor in. She probably is going to get involved in this. The question is going to be, who does she maybe take out if she does get involved? Is she gonna attack both Becky and Lyra? Even the odds? Are they gonna introduce somebody else to get involved in all of this? I'm gonna go with Lyra Valkyria wins the Women's Intercontinental Championship. She gets the victory over Becky because they can continue it on. They can keep going now, and they can have Bayley versus Lyra, but for the title. You could do another triple threat or a different stipulation. Or if there is a draft, maybe you take Lyra with the IC title and that goes over to SmackDown. And now you kind of move her on and she can establish herself even more, because this feud has helped Lyra a lot to establish her in that upper mid card. Maybe she could take that belt now and really run with it, maybe on SmackDown. And Becky and Bayley, they can continue their feud. Don't know, but I'm going with Lyra wins. Women's tag team title match. Roxanne Perez, Raquel Rodriguez, the champions going up against Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair. And they are a massive babyface team right now, aren't they? Judgment Day is featured a lot at SummerSlam, and it will be interesting if they dominate or are they going to crumble and fall apart. I don't see a bunch of turns with Judgment Day, but they've had about a month or so run where they've had all the titles. And I think it would be interesting if they started to lose a little bit. Now, Alexa Bliss and Charlotte, they are getting very over as a babyface team, and the crowd is finally embracing Charlotte way more. I think because we saw a loss on SmackDown where Roxanne Perez beat Alexa Bliss, you still have to go home before SummerSlam, but I do think that you ultimately are gonna have Charlotte and Bliss hold up those tag team titles. They can have a run as a big babyface team, and then you could try to introduce and bring in more teams to challenge them. It also allows for Charlotte and Bliss to cross brand and go to SmackDown and go to Raw, but they've done a very good job of getting these two together, establishing the friendship, the odd couple, the odd pairing thing, the reluctancy of trying to be friends, not wanting to be friends, and now they are at this point where they're coming together, so I think you need to now have the payoff for that. It then also leaves the door open with Judgment Day. If Raquel and Roxanne lose the belts, how they lose will be interesting, because if it's Roxanne's fault, then you add more tension in there. If it's Raquel's fault, you still add a little bit more tension, maybe more divide between Judgment Day. And then without the belts, they can always try to recoup them. Charlotte, Bliss, they win the titles. Now, speaking of Judgment Day, we now have Dominic Mysterio versus AJ Styles for the Intercontinental title. And I love that how goofy and silly this has been, where AJ is stalking Dom. They've been doing it for several weeks. Dom with the doctor's note has been such a fun element to this. So it's just been a fun storyline. It's a match that we were supposed to get a while ago, but Dom had legitimate injury, so they held it off. Do you think that they would put the IC title on AJ? I'm 50-50 on this, because on one hand, I think you can do way more with Dom as Intercontinental Champion. If the rest of Judgment Day starts losing the belts, then you got Dom as the only guy with the title belt. However, I am curious if they did put the title on AJ, because then maybe you're gonna see AJ Styles as Intercontinental Champion, maybe do a little bit of crossover with TNA, because he showed up at Slammiversary. Maybe they want AJ representing WWE in TNA with the Intercontinental Championship, and maybe he's gonna do something there. As much as I like Dom, and frankly, I've enjoyed just how fun this storyline has been for the two of them, I'm gonna say AJ Styles picks up the IC title. Dom can always get it back, but also you could roll Dominic Mysterio up maybe to the World Heavyweight division. Maybe there's trades and drafts and they get moved around. But it also kind of ties into if they're going to do the story arc or begin it where Judgment Day is falling apart and losing the belts. It seems like every 6 months they're going to do a Judgment Days turning on each other kind of thing. They lose everything, they regain everything. But AJ Styles is my pick. Then you got your tag team match, your jelly-filled donut match. RKO, Mr. Randy Orton, and Jelly Roll going up against Logan Paul and Drew McIntyre. Hey, Jelly Roll's been doing a good job and having fun in the ring, and he's been giving it to Mr. Logan Paul. Logan Paul is doing his job as the big heel. I love how we had weeks ago where Drew just claymored Jelly Roll in the head. It was so quick and awesome. They've done the stuff on late night as well, so there's been a lot of crossover and mainstream stuff, so they need to have that celebrity match in there. I get it. This one I have to go with Jelly Roll and RKO. Who eats the pin? Yeah, maybe it's Logan Paul. You're gonna get the big viral moment. I hope, by the way, I hope WWE doesn't have Logan Paul doing a bunch of the drone stuff. That was irritating, where he puts it on his hand and he's like floating it around and all that. Now, when he did like the suplex, like with Cody, and then he did the flip from the top rope, all that, and they followed it with the drone shot, that's kind of cool because he's holding on to it. But when Logan Paul is just like walking around with the drone in his hand, it's very stupid. But I have no doubt that you get a big move from Logan Paul. He'll do some sort of splash and fancy flip. I don't see Drew McIntyre eating the pin. And maybe it's because he got an RKO and he gets pinned by Jelly Roll after. But babyface is going to go over here. It's the big celebrity match. Jelly Roll, RKO, they're going to stand tall in the middle of the ring, and that's how you're going to have that match go. Man, there's a lot of matches in the 2-night SummerSlam, isn't there? Okay, let's talk World Heavyweight Championship. Gunther, CM Punk. Punk wins the gauntlet match. #1 contender. They're going to have probably another segment on Raw where they're going to chat it up. This is very straightforward, clean cut. Best in the world CM Punk versus just Gunther, who's big world champion. Now, I'm conflicted on this. I enjoy CM Punk. I'm a CM Punk fan. But I can see a world where Gunther beats CM Punk. I think it's interesting if Punk loses. Maybe Punk has too much confidence going into this match. They build it where he underestimates Gunther, and Gunther dominates CM Punk towards the end of the match. And you give him a bunch of power bombs, and Punk doesn't win. Punk then has to go off and find himself and try to claw his way back up to get to the world title. Maybe it takes him as long as the Royal Rumble to win that, to go after Gunther, who knows? But on the other hand, I can see it where they're gonna put the belt on CM Punk, give him the World Heavyweight Championship, and let him have a few months as a run as champion. Because if they don't continue Punk and Gunther's storyline and Gunther is the champion, I don't know who Gunther fights. That's why I need a draft and a trade thing, because I think you gotta mix things up. Maybe get LA Knight, who's not on SummerSlam, by the way. That's a miss. But maybe an LA Knight is going to challenge for the World Heavyweight Championship down the road. And then there's also the X factor of Seth Rollins. I still think that there is potential. I know they're building it up, that he is totally injured and he's off. They have not talked about him, and that could all be playing into all of this. So I do think there is a chance that Seth gets involved. So my pick is going to be Punk, but I am going to say that there is the very good chance that Seth Rollins cashes in. He either makes it a triple threat, so we never see Punk actually win the belt, or Punk wins the World Heavyweight Championship. You get the big pop celebration moment. He's completely destroyed after fighting it out with Gunther, only for Seth's music to hit. Seth cashes in and walks out night 1 as World Heavyweight Champion, the heist of the summer. He swerves everybody. It's a big plan B all along, and that sets up Seth and Punk going into Survivor Series, Rumble, WrestleMania season. Could happen. That's where I'm going with that, but comment below, what do you think they're going to do with the world title, and is Seth going to be involved in that? Women's World Heavyweight Championship. Naomi, the champion, going up against Rhea Ripley, Io Sky triple threat match. This one, I'm going to say Naomi retains. She just picked it up at Evolution with the cash-in with Money in the Bank. I think there's way more story to tell with Naomi as champion. I know that she is teased like she could be coming after Jade as well. It is possible they put the belt on like Rhea and Naomi loses, only for Naomi to go and screw over Jade when she's going for the WWE Women's Championship. But to keep things fresh and exciting and to get some bad guys with some wins here, I think you keep the belt on Naomi. I think she's done a great job, and I don't feel like Rhea needs it, and Io had it for so long that she doesn't really need it right now. Rhea is in a better position, I think, to be chasing for the belt. She can still have the match with Io because she's never beaten Io one-on-one. And they're going to be going to Australia soon. Also, you're going to be having Stephanie Vaquer at Clash in Paris going up against whoever the Women's World Champion is. I think it's a better environment if you have Naomi, who's a clear-cut bad guy, going up against the new good guy, in Stephanie Vaquer. So you can have a very good matchup. Now, I think that Rhea versus Stephanie would also be killer. Same with Io versus Stephanie. But I am going to say Naomi retains the belt here. So that shifts over to the WWE Women's Championship match. Jade Cargill, your queen of the ring, going up against the champion Tiffany Stratton. And I think that Jade's just going to win the belt here. Haven't loved this feud. I haven't thought it's been the most exciting thing in the world. Got a little tug of war on SmackDown between these two. Couple of promos, just not a big investment in it. And I think maybe it's hard to book that because you have Jade just clearly win Queen of the Ring. Now she has a very defined path and she has no real obstacles. Tiffany's had the belt for quite some time, even before WrestleMania, and she beat Charlotte Flair. She's moved on since then. And even Tiffany, her character, they haven't done a lot with her as champion. There's Stratus match. She's had matches with Nia Jax once again. Not a whole lot of depth there. I think it's good to freshen things up and make things more interesting. Have Jade win that belt. She gets the big crowning moment, finally wins a singles championship, and you could spice things up with now a bunch of bad guys where you could have Nia Jax coming after her, maybe do some trades and you get different women involved. Tiffany could maybe become bad guy. And then that way we could see a different side of Tiffany again because she's really good as a heel. And the big question mark for me is Bianca Belair, because maybe you are going to have Bianca maybe become a bad guy, you never know, and then start the feud and the big program with Jade Cargill. Jade's my pick to win this thing. And then, ladies and gentlemen, your street fight. The main event of night 2 to close things off, John Cena versus Cody Rhodes. Now, as we were getting into SummerSlam and this final prediction here, help me out and hit that subscribe button, hit the like button on this video if you made it this far. So, Cena and Cody. Cody had a promo on SmackDown. He talked more about Mr. John Cena. There has been the contract signing, and Cody forced Cena to sign everything. This is a rematch of WrestleMania 41. Based off of the promo Cody did on SmackDown, he's wanting to see the old John Cena. He's wanting to see Cena run down to the ring, have his regular entrance, get all fired up, and give it his all. Because this could be the final time that we see Cody and Cena in the ring. If Cody wins, it could be the end of John Cena's title reign, his final title reign. So with Cody's promo on SmackDown, I think it made it very interesting because you are now maybe getting the possibility of Cena turning babyface during the match. Maybe Cody is able to bring Cena back to being a good guy, or maybe a little bit more likely to be, he beats it out of him basically, and Cena may become more of a good guy for the end of his run. I hope it doesn't end in just Cody and Cena shaking hands at the end of the match, where there's now this newfound respect. John Cena kind of forgives and says sorry to everybody, and he becomes the good guy John Cena for the final few months of his run. Cody then being champion. Very torn on this. I did a whole video recently just on the Cody Cena feud and how this main event match could end. Is there a Seth cash-in? Does The Rock get involved in all of this at the end? Is there a double turn? Does Cena simply retain and stays the course as a bad guy? Is it a boring finish where Cody picks up the victory and then that's it? It's a street fight, so they're leaving the opportunity for different things to go down really wide open. Whether it's a turn, whether it's The Rock, or anything else, I am gonna say that Cody picks up the belt because maybe they want to have Cody going all the way to WrestleMania 42 as champion. That's my pick. And if you want to talk about the Cena Cody possibilities and all the different options, please click this video right here because we go in depth about that main event match. Thank you guys so much for watching. Enjoy SummerSlam. Have a great day. See ya.